It's just got a picture up there at the moment, but they can't hear us. Ah, I'm behind then. I'm good, and yourself? Twitter. Twitter. Yes, went out to drawing. And then where else have I been this week? Clyde and that, nice and local. But now I'm having a few days off as my other daughter's just contracted COVID-19. Yeah, she's had it. Yes. No, I haven't had it yet. So I'm like, do I just catch it now and get it? Yeah, going to Sydney in 2 weeks. Yeah. See my wife's nan. We haven't seen her since pre-COVID, and my wife's father's up there too, so we'll get to see him as well. Both of which we haven't seen since pre-COVID. That is good.
Capture is oh no, that's what it is. Turn that off. I don't want to be monitoring myself on that. And oh yeah, no, display capture. Yeah, no, that's okay. The rest of it's okay. Good. That's all good. So, well, I think I might need to turn myself. Can you talk Egi for a sec?
Hello.
Yeah,
Talking.
Yeah, everyone can hear you. Me, not so much. That was a one-sided conversation. Very boring for anyone watching.
Just on Twitch, I'll see if I'm trying to renew my subscription, but just what's going
on. Cool, man.
Trying to use my Amazon Prime for the month, but
oh yeah. Oh, actually, that's another. I actually don't know whether I have with anyone at the moment. I think I'm. To be honest, I've actually cancelled a whole bunch of. I think the only Twitch subscription I think is all decked out.
Oh, nice. Thanks.
It was your channel, and I think I'm still subscribed to Jim, and that's it. Like I've got no one because I'm like, and even Jim, I'm only doing it because I'm nice, but yeah, I don't know how much longer.
Yeah.
Because I really don't get to catch him, to be quite honest, on stream, and especially now because I game on the single ultra wide. I don't do it like I used to put him on the second monitor, but yeah. And anyway, besides that, brother, what's been happening for you? Anything exciting?
No, nothing really. I was just looking at the AFL scores then. I just saw Melbourne Demons are smashing the Port Adelaide.
Yeah, Port's in trouble this year.
They are in
Very big
trouble.
trouble.
And then just scooting across to the NRL, and the Eagles are 10-0 to the Knights at halftime.
That's interesting.
It is interesting.
And how's the Mighty Storm doing this year?
They're doing okay.
Did they do any good last year?
They lost to Panthers in the prelim final, so they got knocked out just before the grand final against the Premiers. So that's not so bad.
Is Bellamy still?
Yeah, he's still. I think he's signed for another 2 years.
Okay.
If I remember,
Let's move that out of the way. Yeah, well, that's okay. That's interesting because that'll be his career. You would have thought.
Yeah.
He'd be just about ready to retire.
Well, he was. I think that's why it's going a year or two at a time that he's signing.
Oh, okay. So he can, like, when he decides to pull the pin, he can just pull the pin, and it's not that long.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much.
I wonder if they've got a plan though, because it's.
Well, I thought that they might have had Cameron Smith or something, but maybe not.
Nah, that never works, man. Like Cam Smith, if he wants to be a coach, needs to go coach somewhere else for a couple of years, or not coach, but go and maybe coach at a lower level just to see and go, well, okay, is this for me?
Well, I was wondering maybe since Billy Slater's coaching the Queensland side, maybe. But his two assistant coaches are Jonathan Thurston and Cameron Smith, so it could be a force to be reckoned with in Queensland this year.
They could be, I reckon. It could be very interesting, actually, for Melbourne to try and get those guys as a team down. Like if they're successful, obviously. But I mean, they're only coaching Queensland, aren't they? They're not actually coaching a team.
No, just the Maroons. So what's that, like a 4-month thing? I think it's a 3-month series and a month beforehand. So
I just don't. I am yet to see a player who then becomes a coach. It's very rare then. I think the family unit survives as well, though.
Yeah.
And I think that's something, I think that might mean someone like Billy Slater or Cam Smith, who were really, real family men.
Yeah.
Certainly when they were playing, I just don't see them doing. I don't know. NRL's a bit different, but I know in AFL, you look at all the coaches, and I'm pretty sure, like, Damien Hardwick, fantastic player, great coach, divorced. Nathan Buckley, divorced. Who else was there? Danny Laidley, or whatever it wants to call itself.
Yeah.
She calls herself Danny now. Bomber Thompson. There's very few coaches. I thought Lee Matthews was even divorced. I could be wrong.
I know Billy Slater was doing some stuff like on the not on the board, but like on the coaching staff at Storm. I know he was at St Kilda for the first year that he was in the off season. I'm not sure what he was doing there. But going to the game on Sunday, I saw that his kids there still, like ball boys, or ball boy and girl, should I say?
Mm-hmm.
Like when they kick, so they're still picking up the ball, and Nicole was there.
Yeah. Oh, look, I don't think he'll never. He'll always be part of the club.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, and unless something goes wrong. But and the thing is, Billy, I think, retired on his terms. Same with Cam. Cam Smith retired on his terms. He won the last grand final, and
we're done. Got to January, but I don't think I'll be back. I was like, oh.
Yeah, well,
it was awkward.
Well, it's interesting because if you think about some of these guys, like they keep winning to a point, and then they're like, "What is the point?" Remind me again. So,
well, that's like Ash Barty goes out on top, and now thinks she might be going to the golfing.
Look, she's got the temperament of an athlete. I admire her because she's clearly someone who recognises the importance of going, either I do this or I don't. Unlike Kyrgios or Tomic or Philippoussis, who dicked around for years. And like Tomic come out earlier this year, I plan to come back in the top 10. It's like, champ, sit your fucking ass down, mate. Let's be honest. You ain't coming back to shit. Like, there's much hungrier, much more motivated, much more focused players out there. And look, if he does, good luck. I hope he proves me wrong. I would be happy to be wrong, but same with Nick Kyrgios. Nick Kyrgios runs the massive risk that he squanders his potential to be number one. And that's the thing. If tennis, I think, is really a mental game.
Yeah.
You take a look at some of some of the best players in the world. I mean, look, it's not always the case. I mean, McEnroe was quite successful and he was batshit crazy. But then Jimmy Connors and, Pete Sampras, Ivan Lendl, I mean, those guys were pretty calm on the court and just focused on the task. So, see what happens. But you been keeping up with any PC news at all?
No, not overly. I did see our friend Tekt bring out a budget build this afternoon. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I might watch that when I go to bed.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might catch that one too. But actually, I'm trying to move along my little PC, as you would have seen, and
yes.
I've had a bit of interest, but it kind of surprised me the other day because I was testing it because I think it's a few young kids have come and said, because it's cheap.
Yeah.
They've said, what about if I don't
because I did see one the other day. I added you to the group. There was a good PC in there. He had a 1660 Super, and it had a 10400 in it. i5 10400.
Yeah,
and it was $750 for it. Like a full running PC. Had I think it's fine.
Yeah, that smells on too good to be true. Because I'm thinking, well, hold on. So 1660 Super.
Yeah.
How's he done that? Because 1660 Super, even if he bought it when they were cheap, which I bought games, they were still $400.
No, I think this was his PC. There's like, I'm not using it anymore. I'm selling it for.
Jeez, he sold that cheap. Unless he needed the cash and
maybe.
Otherwise, I don't know. I'm not going to say. It smells scammy.
It smells fishy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does smell really fishy because $750. Like, you couldn't. Like, I know I've seen the 10400F. Well, was it a 12400 or 10400?
10400. But I don't know if it was an F or a K or.
No, it'd be F. 10400. It was either 10400 or 10400F. They didn't have a K version.
Yeah.
Of that, you had to go to a 10500, I think. But that's awfully cheap. That's awfully cheap. Because the motherboard and the CPU alone are going to set you back at least 500, and then you got the graphics card. You're not going to pick up the graphics card for $250. Shit, no. Look, you might now. I think 1660s just tanked because I've seen 3060s and 3060 Ti's for like $500. Look online now, and at the moment 6900 XTs for $1,500. $1,600. So 3070 Ti's for just under 1,000. 3080s, like the old 10 gig ones, you can pick up for just over $1,000. So like my one, or you can get the 12 gig versions for around that $1,500-$1,600 mark as well.
Yep.
But I work with a guy who's got a friend who works at EVGA, and apparently his comment to him was, "We've just got a glut of cards now. They've all landed, but there's no supply, ongoing supply. It's not like there's this pipeline of cards that are coming down the line." But I'm thinking maybe part of that is because the new stuff's due to come out as well.
Yep.
So I don't know whether definitely they've come down. They've come down heaps, to the point where a 6900 XT. I mean, that's like it's not much far off a 3090. But yeah, it was interesting. I was watching a review with Steve from Huddle Unboxed, and he was saying, like, if you had to choose between the 3080 12 gigabyte and the 6900 XT, the only reason you'd go for the 3080 is for the ray tracing, and that's about it. But, like the 6900 was a little bit, they traded blows. It was really toe-to-toe. And he said, look, the only time he thought that the 6900 XT would be any good would be if it was well below, like, you could get it for a couple of $100 cheaper than the 3080. And I'm like, that's interesting, because they're around the same price.
Yeah.
But 3080 Ti's, even, you can pick them up for just over $2,000. But I don't think they're worth the money. And then you got 3090 Ti's, which are 3.5. Seen them going for 3.2, anywhere between 3.2 to 3.5. But they're stupid money. Like, those, I reckon, look, I hope I'm not wrong. I hope I'm dead set. But I think if people wait, I reckon maybe they'll get down to around that magic $2,000 mark.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. 3090s you won't be able to get. Like, they'll be phantoms. So, but CPU prices are really good at the moment. Like, I've seen 5600Xs for under $300.
Yep.
Like, and even 5800Xs for under 500.
Oh, wow.
I'm sure I saw one night they were $499 for a 5800X, and I'm like, damn, that's good value. And I think 5700X is launched, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go and have a look. I thought it had launched 5700X. Oh, hello. Oh, what do you got there, my little Cinecron friends? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, like 6600 XTs, which were like $1,000 now, like $670, which is where they should have been in the first place. Yeah. They're coming down in price. They're coming to where realistically they should have been. So, what else have we got? Just having a quick look. Have they got it? No. Interesting. MSI coolers, like, there's some good, some semi-good bargains at the moment. Ooh, 24-inch, 144 hertz monitor for $245. It's unbelievable how cheap some of these ones. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Mate, put this in the chat. I don't know whether anyone's watching on your channel, but mate, I wouldn't be walking to the store to go get this as a 1080p monitor. I would be, mate, I am tempted to even buy this just as a spare monitor to have around the house. But where are we?
Here I am.
There you go, mate. There's, yeah, $179.
Ooh.
$179. Like, I'm like, geez, you cannot. And it's a Samsung, so it's not a crap brand. That is, I must have way over ordered that. I bet you that's a 1080p. Ooh, Eggy. I have got, I'm going to buy one of these, I think. I'm going to have to go down to Frankston tomorrow and buy it. So I'm working from home, and work's giving me $290 cash to set up my home office, in inverted commas. $299, 1440p, 27-inch curved monitor. I've got a MSI one, sit them next together, and I've got 1440p Glory. And if you know anyone who wants a cheap AAC monitor, I'll be putting that up for sale too. And that's 144 hertz 1080p as well, but I paid a bit more than that for it. Fuck, can't believe that. That is cracking value. Yeah, that is cracking value. Yeah, I'm gonna go pick one of them up tomorrow, and then I'll just because I've got Gabe's old second monitor.
Yep.
So which is it's like and it's kind of funny when I'm playing. Like when I'm working from home, I've got to set up both monitors at 1080p, even though one's at 1440p on the right and the other one's at 10. Drives me nuts. So that just does my OCD in. So it's not going to cost me anything. It'll cost me $9. I'll say to my wife, it's going to cost me $9. And then I won't have to tell her that I'll have to spend a bit more because I need one of those splitters. But for the HDMI and to USB-C connection. But anyway, but no, we're going to look at CPUs actually because I thought, yep, there it is. There you go, Eggy. Perfect, mate, just for you. 429. 8 cores, 16 threads. I cannot go wrong. I'm actually going to be interested to see the reviews on this 5500, AMD 5500, which is a 6-core 12-thread chip 65-watt TDP with a Wraith Stealth cooler. That is amazing value. So, give you an idea, why would I pay $449 for a 3700X? There you go. Centacom's got... No, I wouldn't even do that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or you could pay an extra, so $429, or you could pay a little bit extra and go and get your, for $499, you could get your 5800X. At Centacom. And all of those, you got, what are you running, a B450 board, yeah?
Yes.
So if you sold your B450 board with the 3600, so I don't know, $200. Yeah, but about $200 because 5600's worth. What's that worth at the moment? Yeah, 5600 is worth 285, or 5600X is worth a bit more. You got a 3600 or a 3600X?
3600.
3600. So, yeah. So motherboard and CPU combo, let's say $200, and then you went and bought for streaming because you're streaming. You bought a 5700X and a motherboard, a 550 motherboard. That's all you would need. You know what? Oh, no, you wouldn't want to do that. There you go. Another $150 for a, because you've got the mini ATX case.
Yes,
so you
yes,
buy an Elite. Oh, there you go. You could probably buy a Gigabyte Elite board or MSI Pro Wi-Fi board if you wanted one with Wi-Fi, all $150. Mini ATX. What's the back plate looks like? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 USB ports at the back, a HDMI onboard port, and a DP port, and you've got Wi-Fi. Look, you've got crappy sound, but yeah, you still get a nice heatsink on one of the NVMe drives.
Yep.
But you still get your 4 slots for RAM. Yeah, it'd probably be just as good a board as what you've got. Might not be quite as nice looking, but so what's that? So what is it? What do I say? 430, 80, 480. So 580, just under $600. So for $400, you could upgrade your motherboard and your CPU, and that's all you need. You wouldn't need to do RAM. You wouldn't need to do anything else.
No, just switch it out. Yeah,
You just switch it out, and then for $400, you've got a system that'll stream, it'll game, it'll be fine. And then it all comes down to, I mean, or you could buy the 550 version of the mortar.
Yeah.
Which, what have they got that for? That's the Tomahawk. Yeah, the mortar Wi-Fi is expensive for what it is. If you want it, like, you would probably screw that. I'll get the yeah, you'd probably get the Asus Tough 550M, which is Wi-Fi, and that's a micro ATX board as well. One, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah, and that looks like it's around the same. Nah, you wouldn't actually. You'd be paying the Asus tax on that. I'd say for the $179, bugger the Wi-Fi. You can buy a cheap Wi-Fi card if you wanted to. Do you use Wi-Fi on your PC, or no? Is it all Ethernet?
It's all Ethernet. Yeah, I probably could if I wanted to, but yeah, I got the hub in here, so I just plug it all in.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, so you'd probably go like the motherboard you've got, which isn't Wi-Fi anyway. The 550 Mortar M80X board's $179.
Yeah.
And you probably could look around and check. And what I like about that, it's got a BIOS flash button. It's got the nice NVMe heatsink cover on top. You've got 2 slots for PCIe cards.
Oh, I just saw on Twitch. New heads up, we've made the difficult decision to stop supporting the Twitch desktop app.
Really?
On April 30th.
So what does that mean?
I don't know.
It's got to be an April Fool's joke or something. It's a bit late or something. That's silly. What's behind that?
It says, what does that mean? It's true, the Twitch desktop app will be shut down on April 30th. We've made the difficult decision to say goodbye to the Twitch app. The decision was not made lightly and came from a combination of usage and user feedback. This move allows us to invest more heavily in enhancing and adding new ways to engage with the creator and communities you care about. If you've used using the Twitch desktop app, we recommend bookmarking twitch.tv in the browser of choice for easy access.
Oh, so they must have had a Windows app for Twitch, and they've decided it's just not worth it. It's just everyone can just go to the link and watch Twitch TV.
Yeah.
From there.
Maybe it's easier to run through the website than it is on the app. I use the app.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, like if you're looking for a 6700 XT, like for a graphics card, I mean, you'd go to Budget PC Tech or BPC Tech. This is their website if you want to chuck it up in chat.
You've used them before, haven't you?
I have. And for 2 things, and for the NVMe drive and for the second capture card box I got, and very good. And the good thing is they're around the corner from my work, so MSY is shut and these guys are apparently not far from there, so I'm like, yes, giddy up. But yeah, like 37 gaming, 30 MSI 3070 gaming Z Trio $999. They've got it on their website. What else have they got? They've got this is cheap.
Okay.
It's okay. Didn't hear anything, which was like, oh, he's gonna stay, and then I didn't hear anything. And then where are we? Graphics cards. Yeah, they seem to have very good deals on some graphics cards. So what was it? The 6900 especially was 6900 XT. Yeah, so they've got it for $17.99. I thought Shopping Express, which is another one I've used, Shopping Express, and they're quite good. They're more of an online store.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, at the moment, like some of the bargains they got on there are like this is these guys. I've used them before. Again, I didn't personally have any dramas with them. M.2 drive for 1 terabyte for $123. You know, I mean, how do you go wrong with that? What else you got? You know, they've got 250 gig NVMe drives for like $58. Or you know, just it's good value. This wasn't working right the other night, so let's. Oh yeah, that's a bit of a bundle there. The other one for people to keep an eye on is this site here. Is Oz Bargains is just it just can have some cracking deals on there that if you jump on them really quickly. Some of them are a bit meh. Like, I mean, they've got an NVMe WD Black SNA54 4th PCIe 4.0 drive, but it's $438. I'm like, nah, like, no. It's not worth it in my opinion. But here you go, 6700 XT Mech for $870 plus $15 delivery, you know. 12700K CPU from Tekt, 589 delivered, which isn't actually, that's not a bad deal at all. Umart, $1,800 for a 3080 Ti Galax GeForce. That's a Ti, not the normal 3080 12 gig card. Oh man, that is Harris Tech via Amazon, $15.99 for an Asus TUF RX 6900 XT.
Yep.
That's this one here. I am so tempted, Eggy, to go and get that because that is just stupid cheap. Where are we? Here.
I just saw the colourful iGame RTX 3060 for $559.
Yep.
At your mate's BPC Tech.
Yep. Jeez. And that would touch up your six. That would, for you, it'd be a considerable step up from your 1660 Super. Here you go. Oh, it's out of stock. Yep, there's another one on eBay, Harris Technology, 6700 XT 12 gigabyte card for $798 delivered. If anyone's looking for a case, Tekt have a absolute cracking deal on a very nice case. On now it hasn't got all the pretty RGB, but it'll be a solid case. Like, it'll be good quality case, and it's the Corsair 400D black mid, and you might have to add in, you know, some fans and stuff, which by that stage you might as well buy the 4000D probably with the fans already installed. But if you're like, I don't want RGB, I just want a nice case, good airflow and everything, there you go. It's $99, mate. Like, good luck in trying to find that sort of quality anywhere else. What else do they got? 6600 XT. There you go, 6800 XT from Skycomp. I've heard of them. I've not used them. 1317, which for a 6800 XT is launch price. Yeah, that's what they were at launch. Sorry, below launch price. Launch price, most of their cards were $1,400 to $1,500 for AMD. There you go, 3070 Battle Axe, 836 from BPC Tech. That would be a massive upgrade from what you've got. Wow. The Radeon 6700 XT OC for $799. What else we got? Yeah, then 6600. Yeah. So it will be interesting. There you go. 3080 Asus ROG Strix 3080 10 gig code for $1449 from BPC Tech. And that card, the ROG Strix, it's a pre-order, but that ROG Strix card at one stage was well north of $2,000.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like I said, and that's a nice looking card. Like that's one of the premium cards out on the market. So, you know, there's plenty of IT stuff out there that's nice and cheap, and you know, this is probably a good time to build a PC. Like if people have been waiting, well, now's like even that one that we saw for our mate Ryan, that 3080 system for $2,500 or just shy over. I'm like, I don't reckon I could build that for that bloody money. And like really, if you wanted to down the road go, I need more storage, or I want a nicer cooler, or I want to do this, or I want to do that, you could.
Yep.
Easy peasy. You just, yeah, all right, I'll do it. You know, what else we got?
Is that everything for the tech deals this week?
Oh, and the last one would be there's 10, yeah. Oh, hold on, is that still valid? Let me just go and make sure this is still valid. No, it's not. No, it's gone back up in price. No, never mind. But yeah, that's about it, mate.
I want to touch on a bit of gaming. We played Fortnite the other night.
We did. No building.
What was your thoughts?
I actually didn't mind. I'm warming to it. I'm not a massive fan. Look, the building part will never be something I'm going to be into. I accept that. The motor, the muscle memory to be really, I've missed that jump off point by way too long to be any good. But playing no building, I think that was such a clever thing by the game developers to do that. And I think there's nothing wrong with having them work side by side.
Yeah.
Because it probably, now they've done it, it's like, well, we just leave it on and just, you know, tweak it as we go along. But I just found it was fun because there was no, you know, I didn't have to, because the one thing I didn't like about building is walk around and you spend half your time collecting materials to build.
Yeah.
Then I don't build because I don't know how to. Like, I'm sure if I spent the time to actually bind some buttons on my controller on how to build stuff, I probably would be okay at it. Yeah. But again, like, I'm not going to be crush shot. What I like is their ranking system's really good though. I feel like the players you're up against, like I think we saw a couple of players that were looked like they were pretty good, but you know, still for a couple of dad gamers like us, we just played it smart, let them kill each other off in that last game, and then the guy come up the hill sneaking, and I'm like sneaky, and you just went shotgun in the back, champ, and he's like, oh, we'll shoot you back, and he shot you. He was shooting, but your shotgun was just way more powerful than his.
Yeah, well, I think I already hit him for three shots before he actually
before he turned around
and
started firing, and then by that stage I think he pumped about 3 or 4 bullets into you, and and then you got the 4th shot off, and it was game over. It was battle royale victory. But yeah, it was like I said, I liked it because yes, they seem to have got the balance of skill-based matchmaking
Yeah.
Okay. I did play a bit of Apex because when I was testing that machine, I played a bit of Apex. And I don't think they quite get that as right.
Yeah.
Like I found myself queuing up with people that were like rank 100 and something. I'm like, what the hell am I doing ranking with this person? Like, and I'm playing on a potato PC as well. It's not going to help.
Yeah.
But I did I did kill a couple of people in my game and got, I think I got top 20 once and that was it.
Yeah.
But Valorant, I played Valorant and that was close. They seem to have got their matchmaking good as well. From what I saw, I played 1 or 2 games of Valorant and I thought, it's okay. But again, Valorant, I think, just doesn't have a big base anyway of players. Not certainly at Fortnite or Apex level. But it was really interesting. I was talking to someone today about Vanguard. And their view was that they liked it because they said it reminded them of Modern Warfare.
Oh, okay.
But with the guns skinned, it's like World War II. And his view was, he said, I don't think people don't like the game because it's crap. He goes, yeah, when it launched out, it was buggy and all that. He goes, but I think people don't like it because they're sick of World War II.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's an interesting thing. I mean, look, if I got it cheap enough, I'd probably grab it just to, like I know some of the boys and girls in the group, tend to like playing it. So it might be worth having a crack at. But yeah, like I know I'd be back to square one, like really crap, really slow. Like it'd take me a while to probably get my eye in again.
Same, I think.
Yeah, but like I haven't missed it. I'll be honest, I haven't. But again, because I just didn't think they got their matchmaking right at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a massive Battlefield 2042 fan, but he said like the map design is horrendous, and he said the vehicles are just stupidly overpowered. Like you get in a tank, it takes a squad of people to kill you. You cannot, he said, whereas he said in Battlefield 5, he said what you did was, they could be in tanks, but like you could run from cover to cover, like trench to trench, and they weren't very maneuverable, so that while they're trying to maneuver, he said, you could run past them, stick dynamite on them, and off you go. Or if you got behind them with a rocket launcher, that was their weak spot, was the behind.
Yeah.
He said, whereas with 2042, it's not the case. The back of the tank's not the weak spot. It's just really hard. He said, whereas in the other one, you could by yourself take on a tank and win. So I don't know. There might be some people out there who go, well, that's bullshit. Like that's not real life. Like that's not realistic. Like if you were up against the tank. But I'm like, you should be able to, like if you were in a battle scenario, soldiers should be able to sneak up and, stick some dynamite on there and just walk off and go beep and go with some Simtex or whatever. I don't know how realistic it is, but yeah, it was interesting what he was thinking about when it came to when it came to that. He was kind of saying, oh yeah, it's he said it was getting better, but he said the core map design is horrendous. He admitted it as a fan of the game. So, but I'm warming to Fortnite. I am. But it's one of those games that doesn't. I have to admit, I've really gotten back into my single player game. So I've been playing through some Far Cry 6.
Yeah.
Interestingly, that's buggy as fuck.
Have you had a look at Elden Ring or Elden Scroll? I think it's Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. It's not my game. It's not my jam.
Yeah.
I know what style of game it is. It wouldn't be my jam. It is like, it is a, I know the fans of the game, okay, and I know the intent of the developer, and that is in the game, you have to develop a skill so you don't keep dying.
Yep.
Okay. But I don't have hours on end to develop a skill in a game. I like playing my game on easy and enjoying the story. That's what I'm doing with Far Cry 6. That's what I did with Mad Max. That's what I did with norm, or either easy or normal. Depends on the game. Because the way I see it is I don't play a game to stress out. I play a game to chill and enjoy it and watch, hopefully, what is a cool story like Days Gone. I think I had that set on easy because I wanted to enjoy the story. I didn't want to play through the game and then, like, there were parts of that game that were challenging even on easy. And I was just like, shit, imagine I bloody cranked it up here. Same with Division 2. Division 2 was another one. You know, you could...
What's that about?
Division 2 is about sort of a collapse of the government, and then these guys were like the last line of defense, and very, you know what it's very similar to? Outriders. Very, very similar in its mechanics. Yeah. Like, you know, like just the only difference I reckon from a game perspective is the story. But the mechanics of the game is pretty much the same. Like where you get different weapons, you throw them. Instead of, you know, the alien weapons like with the poison and stuff on Outriders, you get in that game you get like automatic turrets, or you can throw a bomb and it wheels out to three, you know, splits into three and then blows up 3 targets. And it's look, I thoroughly enjoyed both games. And like, you know, everyone talks about how good The Witcher was and all that. It just underwhelmed me.
Yeah.
Like, I played it and
I'm like the show. I've never played the game.
The show, that was kick-ass. But the game, I was just like, oh, because, you know, you've just got, with some of these games, it's just, you just know, wow, this is going to take me ages to finish. Now, Far Cry I'm happy to do because I've played it from Far Cry 4. Because I got into Far Cry from Far Cry 4.
Yeah.
As I like to call it, the only game. No, Far Cry 4 was okay. It's Far Cry 5 where I rage quit. Because I hated the fucking end of that game. And then they went and did Far Cry New Dawn, which I'm like, hey, mofos, if you just did that as the end of the other game, bueno, it would have been a great game. Not pretend it's a whole new game, because New Dawn wasn't that big. It's far smaller than Far Cry 5. So,
and Far Cry 5, is that one where you could do the chicken fights or something?
No, Far Cry 6 is that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can get pets, and your first pet you get is an alligator. And what they do is when you're attacking people, the alligator goes and just attacks them with you. It's like instead of having an NPC that helps you kill people, like with a gun, you get your little mate.
Yeah.
The alligator comes along and eats them. And then I just got in the game. I got far enough in the game that now I've got the crazy chicken. Fuck, it's funny. It's quirky. It's really quirky. Like, some of the things in there just make you piss yourself laughing, but it's such a serious topic about a dictator and trying to free a country and all that. But yeah, it's I don't mind it. So far, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm pretty, so far so good. The only thing I'm not happy with is that last night I was playing it and it crashed like a couple of times, and I'm like, what's going on there? So I don't know if there's something going on Windows 11 or whether it's, I don't know. I updated the graphics driver last night, so I'll see if that helped. And I'd upgrade, so yeah. But let's see what happens. What about you? Have you been playing anything besides Fortnite? Have you done any Minecraft or anything? Or
no, I haven't done any Minecraft. I should probably look back into getting into some of that. No, just little bit of GTA every now and then with the wife. But I bring the PlayStation back into the study here while we played Fortnite the other day. So
Oh, okay. Oh, and you wouldn't play Fortnite on the PC?
Never tried actually. I just had the controller because the controller, I don't know, it just stopped connecting to the PC for some reason.
Oh, that's
and then
interesting.
So I had to actually literally plug it in, which became annoying, restricted by
By the length of the cord. Yep.
Yeah.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
So what do you got a PlayStation 4, haven't you?
I do, yes.
Yeah. I haven't thought of a 5?
I did. Like I pretty much almost, well, I had two. I gave one to Taz, and then the one I bought I gave to my boss's kids. And then I just never thought about getting another one.
Oh, okay. So you just said, "Yep, go and pick them up and hand over your cash."
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, okay. Because you were just like, nah.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it. I was like, nah, I'll just stick with the PC. I think that's when I decided I won't. I got the graphics card instead of getting the PlayStation.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, because it's interesting. Like, I don't know. I just don't think PlayStation represents good value anymore.
Nah.
I saw what they bought out with their new PlayStation store, and I'm like, I don't know. I just think Microsoft has slowly just overtaken them in how smart they are with value for money. And I think the one thing that really, really, really appeals to people on Xbox is you can play your computer games, your Xbox games on your computer.
Yeah.
If you own that game, you can go, oh, well, I'll go play that on the computer now. You know, I want to play that on PC. I reckon, especially for people who, like myself, who might have a fairly high end system, and you go, you know what, I'm going to give that a crack.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was like, God of War is the only one I'm really tempted, but I'll wait for it to come on special. But that looks really good. I think everyone's saying the port of that from PlayStation to PC is amazing, and it's starting to get ray tracing effects. That's a game I would be happy to grind out. I've got Valhalla as well, AC.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but I've got to finish Odyssey. And I've just problem with Odyssey is it's one of those games, if you don't play it for long enough, you forget the controls.
Yeah.
But if you get advanced enough in the game and you forget the controls, you get your ass kicked a lot until you figure it out really quickly. And then your muscle memory comes back.
Where's Odyssey based? What's that one on about?
That was the one with the Greek mythology.
Yeah.
There was anyway, it was interesting. I don't know. The story was okay. I mean, from what I saw, the story was good. You know what's really interesting, what I'm starting to find really interesting about gaming as well, is a lot of people play games for the story.
Yeah.
Right? Or to hang out with mates. So you've got two different types of games. You've got your battle royales, which are more for your mates and hanging out and having a laugh and having a couple of drinks, playing online, just enjoying yourself. Then you've got the story games. But I've noticed, realistically, if I wanted, I can't be fucked grinding out 20 hours or 100 hours in God of War. Hey YouTube, show me the videos. You can see the whole, there's people who've done videos with all the cutscenes in them.
Yeah. And
just plays out like a movie. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what the story is? Oh, awesome. But then you go, well, why am I playing the game? So it's interesting. It's whether that eventually, and some of them are getting so good. Like the Cyberpunk one was, look, the gameplay was nothing special, but the story and the acting and the voice acting and stuff in it was good. That was the big difference. What do you got coming up this week, big fella? You got anything I'm going to the Grand Prix actually on Sunday.
Oh, lucky you.
I managed to get
Watch
some
it.
tickets. Yeah.
Watch it from the lounge room, I think,
Yeah.
or from the vicinity of the house anyway, because of my daughter.
Oh yeah, well, lucky you don't have tickets, man. Fuck. You would have been spewing.
You're
You'd be like,
heartbroken.
shit, I got tickets and I can't go. Yeah, I normally can't go because the way the Grand Prix used to be set up was when Gabe was born the first year, or just before he was born, I had tickets to the Grand Prix. And last minute, I said to Amelia, I'm not going. You are literally just about to be due. And for me to go into the city and go watch the Grand Prix, and if I'm in the middle of the Grand Prix and I miss a phone call from you going, I'm going into labour, I'm going to the hospital, and I miss the birth of my son, fuck that. Nah, not going to happen. So I didn't end up going. And obviously he was only born a couple of days after the Grand Prix.
Yep.
So that meant, for me, like,
Grand Prix's birthday every year.
it's their birthday on those weekends, so I could never go. But this year, because I think from this year onwards, they've changed it to from round 2 to round 3.
Yeah.
Or no, I think we were the first round, weren't we? Australia.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they've gone from Australia being round 1 to being round 3. So that's worked out okay. So, and I was talking to one of the guys at work, and he said, "Oh, mate, because you're in for a treat. He goes, this is one of the closest years I've ever seen." Like, he's a bit of a F1 fan. He goes, and he said, "Oh, like it's all like really close, and these guys, overtaking, like the first 2 or 3 guys trying to overtake each other, and then you've got the guys in the middle are fighting as well to try and get a position, and I reckon you guys are going to really enjoy it." So
that's good.
Weather doesn't look crash up. Looks like it's going to be 40% chance of rain and 27, and I'm like, yay, humid and hot. Lucky me. But anyway, my best mate and I are going to meet up in the city. Like, I booked some parking at actually the exhibition centre.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll just go beep and just drive on in. But
what I did on Sunday is because there was the monster trucks on, there was the Carlton game, and I think there was something on at the Maya Music Bowl as well, and there was netball on at the old Hisense Arena, but I can't remember what it's called now.
When was that?
On Sunday when the Storm game was on. So we had to park at the art centre. So what I did was drop the kids off and went up to the art centre, and I couldn't find a scooter on the way down. But then after the game, I hired a scooter, rode back up to the art centre, picked up the car, and come back and picked the kids up.
That is genius, my friend.
I think it cost you $6. I think it went 1.5 kilometres. But yeah, it was good.
Probably the tram around the city would have cost you, it's for free, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
But yeah, do you want to walk? Yeah. Bit of a moot point for you, but you don't want to.
I was having a ball of just scooting around the city on the scooter.
Yeah, and it's the only way you can ride them.
Yep, it's on the road too. Because I found that if you got too close to the footpath and your GPS and your phone said you're on the footpath, it would cut out. It said to veer off into the middle of the road to start it up again.
Really?
Yeah, so it's all done on like maps.
Shit.
There's like red areas and that. So like because it's following you on your phone. And yeah, so if you go up,
no, you cannot drive me to Frankston. Turn around.
Yeah, pretty much. It just cuts out, and you got to push it.
Well, and it stops people stealing it, doesn't it? Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to have worked better than what those. Remember those bikes, and they ended up in all sorts of like hilarious positions on Facebook with people chucking them up on trees and all that sort of stuff, like just the normal push bikes.
Yeah, I do remember them. Yeah.
And but yeah, I think people having to hand over their credit card to hire them now.
Yeah.
Might dissuade you from being an idiot, just quietly. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, that's me for the weekend. I'll have to try and drive in there fairly early on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Try and get there.
Tell us how it goes, and hopefully try it again at the same time next year, and I'll hopefully be able to join you.
Yeah, mate, absolutely.
I'll be good to go. Always been keen to go because I used to go when we were on the Gold Coast. Lived on the Gold Coast, just love going to India and that.
I never got to go to the India race because that doesn't go there anymore, does it?
No, not anymore. I don't think. No, because the Indy pulled out or something, and then they tried something else, some other cars, but then they ended up cancelling right at the last minute, and then the whole event just crashed. I think it was probably close to 12 years ago now.
Yeah. Because I remember the IndyCar event used to not be bad because, like they had a bit of a different sound because they were turbocharged.
Yeah.
Turbo or supercharged?
I think that was turbo. Yeah.
And like they had a really distinct sound.
Because it was good because they used to have like the other races like the Utes, and then they had like the V8 supercars, and then in between they had like Victor Brainer's burnouts plus the drift cars.
The old school Kingswoods. I used to love watching them because they just all it was an excuse for a fucking bunch of man-childs to get onto a racetrack with real cars and just play bloody crash and bang.
Yeah.
They just whack each other. And
now those cars are probably worth $100,000 each.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy? Like they used to, and I remember they used to even race them at like used to be a really cheap way to get into like if you wanted to do like weekend racing, was those HQs or later on was the Utes. You're right. That they were another cheap way to do it. And
I think like the VT Commodores or something like around that era they have races for them.
That's right.
Super 6 cylinders. Yeah, they got to be 6 cylinders like semi-stock.
Yeah. And you used to get all sorts of different cars. You had the historical cars like you had VLs, VNs.
Like the old
BAs.
Mustangs and the Futuras and that.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just a cheap way to go and race a car, around a racetrack, old Commodores but those things now, like, you know what the sad part is? That you don't make cars like that. Like, if you wanted to go, I want to be a weekend racer, what are you racing in? Like, the only thing, like, maybe, like, Suzuki Swifts, but nothing rear-wheel drive. There's nothing rear-wheel drive that you could race in, like, as a category that would be cheap. Maybe the Toyota 86s. I don't know what they're worth these days, but when they came out, they were only about $40,000. But even now, they'd be worth, I don't know, man. I don't know whether anyone, but there's none of that stuff left anymore.
Like, I remember in the deck check, there's one of the boys in there that he races something or other just before COVID hit. He's only like 18 or 19. He was racing some sort of cars. It was more like time trials and anything than racing against other cars.
Oh yeah.
Find out what he was racing. I remember it was a Ford. I can't remember what it was though.
Because I remember and also that one stage they had those little mini little cars.
The cars, like the little mini Holdens and that. But like you look at them and they're like they only fit one person. They're like overgrown go-karts or something.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they were just a go-kart with a shell on them, weren't they?
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember, and I think it was the Indy race. One year I was watching, and I remember they had go-karts on there, and obviously these things can get up to a decent speed. And this bloke, I think, misjudged how close he was to the corner. Oh my God, it was scary. He just went bang, and he just bounced off the thing. He just hit it full, like, flush. And I'm like, oh shit, is he all right? I'm like, fuck, and he was motoring, like he was like going at like 100k plus in a go-kart, and just suddenly just went from 100 to 0. And I'm like, oh shit. I think he was all right, but fuck, it was a hard hit. I'm like, wow. Like, it was the hardest hit. It's the only time I've ever watched racing and I genuinely went, oh shit, is that guy all right? or the other time was it Lowndes?
So when he rolled at Bathurst?
Yes.
Yeah.
When he did the like, what he went over like 8 or 10 times or something.
Yeah.
Like
It was
at
a
the
big,
end, yeah, because it was big.
And I remember like I went to a party or something. I went to somewhere and they had a piece of the door or something hanging up in the thing that was signed by him that was part of that crash or something. I was like, geez, selling off bits of the car like $10,000 a pop or something.
What was that other one that was one of the guys that does training at Nissan is still there. He was once upon a time in a previous life, he was the race engineer for Peter Brock.
Oh.
So Brock's out on the track. He's going, car's not braking. He goes, oh, okay, Pete. He goes, just adjust the brakes more to the front. Peter's going, okay. So he's adjusting there was a manual adjuster, and it had a sticker on it and it told you which way to adjust for front bias and rear bias. So Peter's adjusting it. Nah, it's getting worse. He goes, I can't stop. Yeah, and Fred goes, mate, just fucking turn it all the way. He goes to the fronts. Just don't worry about having rear brakes for now. Let's just figure out what the problem is. Just do it all the way to the front. Peter goes, winds it up. He goes, yeah, no worries. Okay, done. Anyways, screaming up the straight. Goes to put the brakes on. Fucking like he's got no brakes. Bang! Massive. He goes, massive hit. Like massive. I'm like, fuck it. And he's like, oh my God, Peter's killed himself. Like, oh my God, what went wrong? Why weren't the brakes working? So massive investigation by race stewards to go, well, what cause? We need to know the root cause of what the accident was because it was pretty dangerous. Someone stuck the sticker on the wrong way. So Peter's adjusting all the brakes to the rear brakes. So all he's got is fucking drums trying to slow him down at the back. He's got no front brakes at all. So he goes, if he'd gone the other way, he goes, he would have been fine. He goes, but we just didn't figure out, hold on, try twisting it the other way. And he goes, oh boy, he goes, did I fucking cop it for that from the race stewards? I'm like, oh shit. And he goes, okay, so you effectively saying you nearly killed Peter Brock. Mind you, this was when he told me this story, it was a long time ago before Peter Brock had actually passed away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit. And he goes, yep, I nearly killed Peter Brock. And I'm like, Jesus. But yeah, it was an interesting story, but like how just a little sticker, instead of left, he turned right and all of a sudden he had no brakes. But yeah, and I worked with another guy. He had an old VB Commodore that they used to race at Bathurst, a VN. I think he also raced a VN.
Yeah. Just
a 6-cylinder. Oh no, I think just a 5-litre V8. And he just said, look, things aren't that powerful. As you think about it, they're like 160, 170 kilowatts.
Yeah. Well, 185, I think they were. Well, I think that's probably.
Oh, the HSVs were, yeah. And if you really went all out, you could get the 215s.
Yeah, the GDSs.
yeah. And was it I think it was the GTRS that was.
Yeah, the yellow ones.
Yeah, the big yellow ones. And they were worth about I think 250 kilowatts, if I remember right. I can't remember now, but I know that sure as shit the parts, like if you blew the engine on that, good luck, you were done.
Yeah.
Like you might as well scrap the rest of the car because you weren't getting any replacement parts unless you found another, or unless you put a different engine or you had one custom built for you, because they were like blueprinted, balanced, like they were the last of those old 5-litre steel engines. So they were bored out to the max and oversized pistons and all sorts of wizardry to get the maximum out. Like that was it. Like it was not producing one iota more than 250 kilowatts. Unless you wanted to, put nitrous or bloody turbocharge it, and then you'd bloody blow everything up anyway.
Yeah.
You crack the block or whatever. But they were, but they're worth now. They're worth north of like $300,000-400,000 easy for one of them. I mean, even the Batmobiles are worth. I've got a cousin actually in Sydney who I went, and he's got a legit Wilkinshaw, like fuck all Ks, like I think a couple of thousand Ks on it, and only takes it out on sunny days, and but he sees it an investment. So he sees, like, I think they went to auction and they were trying to get 500,000, and that didn't quite get there. So they just said, "Nah, we'll pass it in. We're not in a hurry to sell it."
Yeah.
So he just knocked them back, didn't sell it. But you know, I remember when you could buy them for 30 grand.
Yeah, so do I. I remember that. I opted between going between a Walkinshaw or a Nissan Skyline, but I chose the Nissan Skyline. And
Yeah, we now know which. Well,
that was like,
depends what Skyline you were looking at, though.
Yeah, I had R33. It was just a GDST. It wasn't a GDR. Just
Yeah,
a GDST. Had a little bit of work, but even now they're still selling for 30 grand or something. So,
yeah,
but,
they've really increased in price. My mate got rid of his about easy well over 10 years ago now, I think, and he spews.
Yeah.
He goes, "Oh, I'm spewing. I got rid of it." He goes, "Because now they're worth so much fucking money." He goes, "Just a stock standard GDST 2-door R. He had an R32."
Yeah.
And like he was spewing, but he'd crashed that one. Like it needed work. Like if he got it properly fixed up, and like we got him some genuine, fixed it up with genuine Nissan parts, yeah, it would have been worth at least probably 100 grand.
Yeah. And I remember like looking through the trading post, there was that many like R33 bloody front cuts and that, like you can get the like cut up Skylines coming over from Japan, where you could pull the motor out and put them in your VL. That's what I was looking at. So I had a VL, and then I was like, no, it's going to take too much work, and I bought a VL turbo, and then I got rid of that and bought the Skyline, and then got rid of that and bought a Lexus, and then I got rid of that and bought the Ranger.
So what did you? So with the VL turbo, was that like a BT1 or something, or just an exec turbo?
It was just it was like a normal VL, just turbo, but it had like the Walkinshaw kit on it, and they had like a pretty green color and stuff like that.
Yeah. I had a friend of mine who I went to high school with, and her future husband, he had a VL, and I think it was a VL Calais or Berliner. It was one of those two. But he put the full Wilkinshaw kit, because he was working at Holden at the time. He managed to get a hold of the full Wilkinshaw kit, and he put a legit Wilkinshaw kit on it, turboed it, and like really worked on it. And then I think he would have sold it back in the day for, I think he sold it for like 20 grand or something. I mean, it was decent money for the time, because for the time for 20 grand, you could buy like almost a brand new, like VN. I think at the time it was VP or, it would have been a VP or V. You could almost buy a brand new VR exec for that. Yeah. Like obviously it's not turbo and it's a 6-cylinder and all that, but it was a fucking brand new car. Versus like at that stage the VLs were just shy over, like they were 12 years old. But it was interesting. I remember when I was working at Holden, the guys saying, as a brand new car, it was an absolute fucking dog. Like it was a dud. They said but for some reason they said it just got this cult following, and it was after I think people figured out, oh shit, that's the 3-litre Nissan engine in it, and all of a sudden people discovered how reliable they were, and they were a much better car than they thought. That's when people. So on the used market, I remember looking at a VL Berliner with like 120,000 Ks on it, and it was selling for 14 grand. And I remember I picked up my car, which was a 94 ED Fairmont, and that was like, had all the bells and whistles, 6-cylinder, velour seats, cruise control, ABS, digital radio, climate control, which was still very rare in that era. Power windows, again, it was like, oh wow, you got power windows. So, and I remember picking that up from Dad's work for like, with 80,000 Ks on it, for like 16 grand, for 2 grand more. Because my dad's like, oh, well, you can buy, and they had a VP wagon they wanted only $1,000 less for. and it was just an exec stock standard VP wagon. I'm like, fuck, it's a bit of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Like,
No, that's like, because when my first car was a VL, and then I was thinking about buying like an engine to put that in, and then I didn't do it because it was going to cost too much. And then I bought a VL turbo, and they had a full Walkinshaw kit, except for the wing. I always hated the wing. I thought it was too
it was over the top. Yeah.
So then I just had no wing on it, but I had the bonnet scoop and like the bottom spoilers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was painted candy apple green, had VTSS wheels on it at the time, which are pretty poo nowadays. But yeah, like the interior was all redone as well. That was nice.
Yeah, because I remember when I had my Fairmont, so I wanted to buy another car, and there was a VS Senator 215 kilowatt with the Hydrotrack suspension and everything, and the thing had some ridiculous like 20,000 Ks on it. And the car dealer said, oh, let's go and have a look. I think you'd like this car. And he wanted at that stage my car and 20 grand. And I rang my old man and I said, listen, I want you to come and have a look at this car with me. He said, come home. Let's have a talk about it there. I got home. He goes, look, you want to buy a car? He goes, you want to borrow money to buy the car? Fine, whatever. I don't give a fuck. Just whatever. But you can't afford the repayments, mate, they can fucking take the car. You're going to get zero help from me. Or keep the car you got, let's buy an investment property. And we'll help you out. So we'll buy investment property. Even back then, I was stupid, but even I went, oh, shit, you know what? The car's fucking worth, it goes down in value, it doesn't go up. It was at least a house. So that paid for mine. Like I had that house for a couple of years. And that paid for the deposit on it when Amelia and I met for our first home.
Yeah.
So, like I didn't have much equity in it, but, like Dad said to me, he goes, I'm stupid. He goes, I shouldn't have sold it. He goes, I should have just paid you out. Should have said, yep, here's your money. Like I made nothing on it. Like I got the money I borrowed from the bank effectively from it.
Yeah.
My dad now looks back and he goes, fuck it. He goes, I should have just kept it. You should have just kept renting it out. He goes, because I was making okay money out of it. He goes, it didn't owe me that much money. He goes, but I was silly. He goes, you wanted your money and I didn't want to borrow more. And like he looks back on it, like him and I both look back on some of the stuff and we're like, fuck, we should have kept like their last house in Taylor's Lakes, the home I grew up in, we should have kept that. But at the time when they said, oh, can you just co-sign the loan? We'll pay it. My dad had retired. Amelia was pregnant with Gabe. And I'm like, shit, if this all goes south, I was stupid. I should have just gone, yeah, okay, don't say anything to Amelia, don't stress her out. Here's my signature, fucking go. Just keep the damn house and just rent it and just use it as an income. But, you look back on these things and it's easy to say, but at the time, you try and make a common sense decision.
Yeah, and you're like, well, I need this money now to do this or something. If you like,
well, the biggest thing was I knew Amelia was off for a year, so if things went tits up, I was like, oh shit, we're like financially, we're in trouble. Like,
yeah,
fuck, can you imagine if it had gone tits up and having to say to your wife, well, honey, the bank's going to repossess our house too because mum and dad didn't come up with a repayment. But then you look back and you look now and you think, fuck, even if the bank repossessed it, the bloody still would have made money out of it all.
Yeah.
So like I would have anyway. But this is what happens when you have a wife who's extremely financially conservative, and some of that rubs off on you at some point. Even though I knew it was a good common sense, but I mean, what's really interesting? What I was looking at, we talk about crypto and all that, and look at what it's. What I looked at today and what nearly fell off my chair when I saw the price of gold. I remember gold only like 18 months ago.
Yeah.
It was like $1,000.
What's it now?
Just shy of 2.
Oh wow.
It's like doubled in price. Like, and that to me shows you where the world economy's at. When gold is that high, it usually means, oh shit, there's bad shit coming. And, with everything that's happening in the world, Anything's possible.
Yep.
Yeah, mate, that's about it from me. What about you?
That's about it for me too. I was
All
like
right.
wondering, can we sneak in a quick game of Fortnite or?
Nah, mate, I've got to get up,
That's
try
right.
and get up early in the morning, but I do want to have a chat to
too.
you after the stream because I do want to ask you something.
Okay.
All right. Peace out, everyone. If anyone's
Peace out,
watching,
everyone.
awesome. If not, hey, it's fun anyway talking, Eggy.
It is. Just chatting.
Exactly.
We're talking about sport today and cars, and
Yeah, it was different.
it was different.
Peace out, everyone.